Most people tell you that starting a business is exciting. They talk about the freedom, they talk about the money, and how you get to be your own boss. What almost nobody talks about is how much work that it actually takes. Most people completely underestimate the grind, the hours, the pressure, the constant problems, the mental load of knowing everything depends on you. They don't talk about waking up at 5 a.m. or going to bed at midnight. I've slept in my truck before. I've even gone 3 to 4 days straight with basically no sleep because the jobs just had to get done. Nobody prepares you for that shit. So in this video, I'm gonna share 12 brutal truths that I wish someone had told me before I got started. If you're building a business right now, especially if you're still in the truck, this is the video that I wish I had from the beginning. Truth number 1, speed is everything, and waiting costs you more money and it's more expensive than being wrong. This is one truth that I wish someone had to drill in my head a lot sooner from day one. Most owners, honestly, they just move too slow because they don't want to make a wrong mistake. But here's the reality. A slow decision costs you way more than a wrong decision. You overthink the ad, you overthink the new hire or if you should hire someone, you overthink the pricing change, you overthink which CRM or software you should use, and you overthink running ads completely. And while you're thinking, the good competitors are taking action, I promise you. Every month that you don't raise your prices, you lose some margin. Every month that you don't hire, you get more burnt out, or your burnout gets even worse than it already is. And every month that you don't send out your marketing, your competitor takes customers that should have been yours. And here's the truth. Waiting is way more expensive than being wrong. A wrong decision gives you the data that you need. A slow decision really gives you nothing. And a wrong decision can just be fixed. And here's the one part almost no one understands. If it's good enough, just send it out. Execution and repetition will give you the data that you need. And you'll get better every single time. You don't learn by thinking, you learn by doing. And we're in the information age. Everyone just wants to listen to podcasts. Everyone wants to read another book, and everyone wants to get another coach. And they learn all this stuff, but they don't execute anything. So what I'm telling you right now is you don't improve in your head, you improve in the field. Go out there and execute. Knock the door. Send out the postcards. Send out the flyers. Send out the door hangers. Send out the emails. Send out the text messages. Whatever it takes, you will get better. Most people don't fail because they choose wrong. They fail because they choose nothing. Speed is a skill, speed is a mindset, and speed is a competitive advantage. Business rewards those owners who move and execute. So make the decision, move forward, and adjust later. Truth number 2 is most small operators do too many things instead of just doing the right things. Being busy doesn't mean you're being productive. Again, this is a hard lesson I had to learn. But you're literally trying to do everything. You're doing the routes, you're doing the calls, you're ordering product, you're doing estimates, you're doing customer service, posting on social media, but you're not moving the business forward. And I'm going to keep this very, very simple. And I'm going to move on to the next one. Your business at this size has 3 things that you got to focus on. Get customers, serve customers, and keep customers. Everything else besides that is just noise. Those 3 things are signal, the rest is noise. Focus on those 3 things. Truth number 3, if you're the smartest person in the company, your growth is capped. And this is something that I had to learn as my leadership developed too. But John Maxwell has a really good book on this called The Law of the Lid. Basically what he's saying is that your business will never grow beyond your leadership capacity. You're always gonna be the lid, you're always the ceiling, and you're always the bottleneck. Every problem will need you, every decision needs you, and every system relies on you. Your growth is capped by you. He says in the book, basically, if you're a 5 in leadership, you can never grow someone that's large or train someone that's larger than a 3. If you're a 7, you can never lead someone that's a 5. And if you're a 9, you can never lead someone that's larger than a 7 in leadership. But growth will happen in your company. And I'll talk about this later on. But when you hire people who are better than you at that specific area, like a salesperson who closes better than you, an ops person who organizes better than you, and a manager that leads better than you. A players will raise your lid, right? You'll learn from them. They're better than you at specific skills like accounting or marketing. Like if they're better than you, let them go do their thing. You'll learn from them and it'll raise your ceiling. So growth depends on who you hire, I promise you. And again, I wish I had known this early on because we all have this ego that we're better than everyone else. I promise you, you find those people who are good at what they do and let them run with it, your business will explode. Truth number 4, what you tolerate becomes the standard. Most problems in small business don't come from bad employees. They come from just having no structure at all. If you don't have clear policies, your team will invent their own. And whatever they invent becomes the new standard. If there's no handbook, there's no expectations, and there's zero accountability. You kind of just react to problems instead of just preventing them from the beginning. That's why you always see like in the Facebook groups or online, people asking questions like, what do I do if someone like no calls, no shows? What do I do if someone breaks equipment? What do I do if techs won't even wear their uniform? The answer is very, very simple. It's not written down, right? It does not exist. So you can't enforce standards because you don't have anything documented, right? And a company handbook sounds super boring, especially as entrepreneurs. It is super boring, but it eliminates 90% of the confusion, drama, and any gray area in business. And once it's written, there's no arguing, there's no negotiating, and there's no back and forth. Like you just go back to the handbook, you read the policy, you point to it, they signed it, they read it, you enforce the policy, done. So if they didn't show up 2 days in a row, if they called in, no showed, like it's plain and simple for you guys. Like it's all written down. They read it. When it's the day that they started, they signed it. You go back to that. It's very simple. It's laid out. And if they call whatever your policy says, they call no show one day, 2 days, 3 days, a month, they're just done. And everyone has the same expectation. And it makes it very, very clear across the board. So your handbook should just include a few things. There's more than this, but I just wrote down a few that you guys should have on there. Attendance, dress code, vehicle rules, equipment damage, safety, customer service, pay time off, route expectations, and consequences. And just reach out to an HR company. If you guys need someone, drop it in the comments, and I'll hook you guys up with some people that are really good. But your handbook is basically your culture in writing. And whatever you tolerate today becomes who you are tomorrow. I promise you, this will fix 90% of your problems when you're a small business. Even if you're $1 million, $2 million business and you don't have this in place, you have to have them in place. This will save you a lot of headache going forward. Truth number 5, you cannot outwork a bad business model. This one really hits home this week because I talked to a new business owner. He's been in business for 13 months, stud of a guy. I think he said he's got like 200-ish active recurring customers, and he's like 450,000 revenue. Like I said, he's been in business for 13 months, relatively new. So I'll give him some grace here, but this is a good talking point for this specific thing. So he told me last year in 2025 or this year that he did 700 one-time jobs. So that means there's no agreement, there's no recurring revenue, there's no route density, and he's just chasing leads, right? So let's just do the math real quick. So maybe he wouldn't have closed all 700 to annual recurring revenue of that $800. So I'm going to keep it pretty low and say that he closed 60% of them, right? So he closed 60% of those one-time jobs at $800 contract value. That's 420 new customers instead of the 700. That's $336,000 in revenue that he would have added, right? So he would have ended, instead of 400 and some, he'd have ended at probably like 500, 600, just top of my head, because he went to service all that this year, depending on when they're sold. But not only that, going into 2026, he would have had all that recurring revenue, and I had to basically start back over with 200 customers. He'd have roughly 700 customers that are all recurring for 2026. Again, so there's no extra ad spend, there's no extra marketing, and maybe a little bit more follow-up. That's about it. But he would have added an additional $300,000 in revenue. So the cost of a bad business model could literally be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars that's costing you. Some owners grind literally, and he does, 14 hours a day and still make no money. And it's not because he's lazy. I just got done saying he's a stud, but because the math just doesn't math. It doesn't work out. You can't hustle your way out of a bad business model. You just can't do it. The companies that do win aren't really necessarily working harder. A lot of them are working hard, but they're working inside of a model that compounds over and over and over again. So not starting over every single year. Fix the model, and your hard work will finally pay off, I promise you, and he's doing that. But I like to tell that story just to save those people that are starting out in business. Don't do one times, and if you do, make sure they're less than 30% of your 100% of your recurring or of your revenue, or even less than that if possible. But that's the split, like to see 70-30, 80-20, 90-10, something like that. But again, this will save you a lot of time and effort going forward if you start from day one this way. Truth number 6. If you avoid hard conversations, your business will stay soft, and so will you. I get it. Not very many people like conflict, but avoiding it is super expensive. So another skill that I had to learn It's a skill that I had to teach my partners, people who work for me, that you cannot avoid these tough conversations. And again, like I understand it can be hard at first, right? But you have that tech that just needs to go, that customer who needs to go, the prices that need to go up, the expectations just need to be reset. Or maybe it's that vendor that you didn't pay that you just had to have a tough conversation with. But I promise you that if you just have the conversation, people will respect you and it will avoid so much chaos in the back end. The problems will not disappear. The problems get bigger, I promise you. If you talk to anyone in my company, any single person, they'll tell you that I'm the first person that'll deal with the big problems. And I almost start every conversation the same exact way. And it's very, very simple. I'd ask for their permission to have a tough conversation. So I'll just simply say, like, hey, is it okay if you and I have a tough conversation? And they say yes. One, they gave me permission. Two, they know the tough conversation's coming. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be a jerk. You just have to be super, super clear. And it could be a multitude of things. But I promise you, strong leaders and strong companies face problems early. We've had this discussion in our company in the past few days with some really good leaders that just need to get better at these things. And again, I'm just reinforcing it here because most people, when you first starting out in business, they avoid tough conversations. They avoid the firing. Again, all the things that I just mentioned, like the plague. But it only gets worse. It only prolongs things. Like the problems will get 10 times worse, I promise you. And that bad employee that you knew was toxic gets worse and worse and worse, and things go really, really bad. Face the conversation today, have those conversations, ask for permission, and then execute. That's all I got to say on that. Very, very, very important. Truth number 7, you don't need more leads, you need better follow-up. And I'm not saying that more leads isn't a bad thing, because if you have more leads, you can suck at sales. I get all that. I'm talking about from the very beginning. Most small operators lose 30 to 50% of the leads that they're already paid for or getting in referrals or people calling. And it's not because the leads suck. It's just because their follow-up sucks. There's typically no first call. They don't answer the phone because they're too busy, like I said, up in the attic, down in the crawl space, in the basement, doing termite inspections, whatever, right? And they just don't answer the phone. It goes to voicemail. The new day and age, people don't like to wait. They want their problem solved. Again, these are usually typically really good leads. You're just starting a business or your first $500,000 in revenue. A lot of them are referrals. Maybe you start running some Google ads somewhere in there. So these are really, really good leads that you're getting, and you're letting them go to voicemail. You're calling them back, and they're not answering. So there's probably no first call. There's definitely no second call. And there's definitely no third call. There's no quote follow-up. There's no text message, and there's no automation. The follow-up is free money. And when you guys learn to automate this, this is what helps you close deals. The companies that scale aren't the ones with the most leads. Maybe they are, especially for really good marketing. But they also have a really, really good system and some of the best systems in place that make sure that the phones are getting answered live, make sure the automations are always followed up, like people are getting followed up, but there's a sequence for every single stage in business and a pipeline for every single stage in the lead comes in to make sure that those jobs close. This will exponentially grow your company. I have a whole different video series just on this one thing, but that's the truth that I have to let you guys know from the very beginning. Answer your phone as much as you possibly can. Figure out a VA, figure out answering service, get someone to answer those calls. I promise you. And I can get those guys to link the video in this video right here. Answer those calls. I promise it's worth it. Truth number 8, cash is speed. Most people think cash is just about security, but it's really not. Cash is about speed. Cash is about leverage. Gives you options. Cash is the difference between playing offense rather than playing defense. And here's the part that nobody talks about with you guys. Cash helps you hire better people. When you don't have cash, you hire people that you can afford. And you hire the cheapest option. You hire the people who are willing to take a low salary. And you hire someone who hopes you will grow into the job. And 7 times out of 10, this just fails. It just does. And like, you have no cash, or like you're just very desperate because you need to hire someone, so you're taking anyone off the street. You guys know, you guys have all been there, and they just don't do a great job because you're paying the bottom of the barrel people to come in that didn't have a job to begin with, that were looking for work, and hire them at a low wage. And of course, they're typically not going to do great. But when you have cash, you hire based on skill, you hire based on experience, and you hire based on your standards. Cash lets you recruit the people who will move the business forward instead of people who just hold it back and take the life out of you. Cash lets you hire that manager, that really good manager who fixes all the chaos, that salesperson who will close circles around all your other salespeople, and the operator who just takes all the work off your plate. When you're broke, you hire off desperation, and when you have money, you hire out of intention. You look for the people who have been there and done it, have a really good background of success, that have really moved the needle of other companies. But it goes a layer deeper than that even. Make the decision off of strength instead of fear, which is puts you in a really good position. When you have no cash, every decision feels like it's risky. You move super slow. You say no or not right now to almost everything. With cash, you move with confidence. You raise the ad spend. You buy the trucks. You stock inventory. You jump on opportunities before your competitors even know it exists. And in a black swan event, some people go out of business. They sell things super cheap. Companies want to sell because they didn't save money. Like it's happened before with COVID, happened before in 98 with a market crash. Like you can get a lot of things at a relatively cheap cost if you just have cash, right? But with a broken truck, no cash is a crisis. And if your truck gets totaled and you have cash, you can go buy a new truck tomorrow and then have the insurance company replace the truck later. Obviously, if you guys watch me closely or watch our company closely, you know that happened to us this year. But we had enough cash. We went and bought a truck the next day, worked out the insurance, got paid a month later, whatever. But we didn't have to worry about being down. So cash is very, very important, especially when you're going into the off season. It can be terrifying. Like you're trying to save cash all summer long, but a slow season with lots of cash is a really good strategy because you can hire, you train, you prepare. And this is what all the bigger companies are doing when it's quote unquote the slow season. They're getting prepared now for next year for a massive, massive spring rush, right? Cash shortens the timeline in every single goal that you guys have. And cash reduces friction in every part of your company. It causes less stress. You can hire better people. You make better decisions. It's faster growth, stronger margins, and more control. If you look at most of the larger companies in the industry, in the markets, they're charging more than everyone else. They're paying people better than everyone else, right? But cash is king. Cash is an accelerator that will move the entire business forward. Very, very important. Truth number 9, if you don't evolve as a business owner, your business won't either. Kind of talked about this, but I'm gonna go a layer deeper here. But the person who you are that starts the business cannot be the same person who scales it. The people who get you to 1 million won't be the people who get you to 10. At first, you're the technician, and then you're the operator, and then you become the leader, and then you become the builder of the leaders. And every new level requires a new skill. If you stay the same, your business will stay the same. If you don't ever want to get better than a technician, you're never going to be better than a technician. I see this day in and day out. People want to grow. They see that they need growth, but they're so used to just being the technician that they go out there and do the same thing every single day and expect new results. It's literally the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and never expecting a different result, right? But I see it day in and day out. Operators that are 50, 60, 70 years old that I want to grow, I want to push, but they wake up and do the same thing every single day and expect something different. You have to start growing. You have to start learning a new skill. And that's all it usually is a knowledge gap from the technician to CEO. It's just learning new skills as you grow. And I feel like every 6 months, if you're not reinventing yourself, the company will stagnate and you will stagnate. So if you want your company to grow, you need to grow. Truth number 10, as you grow, you need to hire people who are not going to agree with everything that you say. You don't want to hire people that you can control. You want to hire people who are willing to push back in you that will set a new standard. You're going to find that partner who just says, no, we are not doing that here, and we're going to have a higher standard. You're going to have that salesperson who says, no, you do not handle customers like that. You do not treat them that way. They demand a new level of integrity. Like we're not doing that here. This is not how we operate here at this company. And they also close better and they have a higher retention. The ops manager who demands structure who demands perfection, that every little detail in your business matters. And when you hire people like this, and you're not the smartest person in the room, like I said earlier, you will grow as a person and as a leader. And ultimately, your business will grow. So what I'm just saying here is that hire people, like I said earlier, that are better than you in certain specific areas, but that they also will not agree with everything that you say, that they're willing to push back on you. You can push back on them and you can have a disagreement. But at the end of the conversation, you guys can still remain friends. This is what it takes to grow. That's something that's big and that's real. That's something that goes further than you. It's a very, very, very hard lesson learned for myself. Very important for you guys to learn. And truth number 11, technology isn't an option anymore. I have two stories here. I talked to a company last year, good friend of mine, and you have all these issues from routing to billing to you name it. Smaller, newer in business. Told him back then, 6 months ago, dude, stop what you're doing now and just put a CRM in place that'll fix all your problems. Called me this week again on whatever day it is. Today is Tuesday. So it must be. Called me yesterday morning. I was on the treadmill at the gym. And he's just like, hey, man, when do you think it's a good time to sell? I'm like, well, what do you mean? Why would you want to sell? You're only doing this for 3 years. Like, I just can't handle anymore. I got this problem and this problem and this problem. And I said, cool. We talked 6 months ago. Did you implement a CRM? Well, no. It's like, I can't help you. Like, people are like, oh, but it costs too much money. It's like $500 a month. But there's no routing. There's no automation. There's no customer notes. There's no follow-up. Like, you're just going off this thing like, oh, I know all my customers. It's just off memory, but it's complete chaos. Like, I ran my business for 3 years with no CRM. Back then, there just wasn't any CRMs. Or if they were relatively brand new, just coming to the market. But I promise you, you're not saving money. You're losing money by every single day. From the routing it by itself, you're losing money having people drive around, not clocking into the jobs. There's no automation. There's no customer notes. Like, you lose one customer due to billing because people get pissed off because you waited 3 months to bill them. And then you got a massive bill after 3 months. Like, you're going to lose that customer. That one customer could have been saved and would have saved you the money just by putting in a CRM. And I don't know what CRMs look like in the next 3 years. Like, maybe we won't have CRMs because of all AI. I really don't think that we will. That's for another topic, for another video. And then I talked to another company that's doing $5 million in revenue, all on paper. Been doing it the same way for 30 years, and I get it. It works. Immediately, I'm going to go in there and they're going to sell this thing. That's the first thing I'm going to ding them on. They're going to get a smaller evaluation on their company just because they have no CRM in place. I'm tracking down late payments. Like, there is so much work that goes into having a CRM at a $5 million company and get everyone on this new RCM and training all your clients all over again. Like, I understand it, but it's not even a question. You have to do this. So going back to it, even from the very beginning, day one, pay the $500 or $200 to get started and then scale it up, because at $5 million or $1 million or $3 million, it's way harder to get your customers into the new system, getting credit cards on file. It's a lot of work. But if you want all your chaos and the majority of your chaos to go away, get a CRM. Chaos will not scale. But if you have a good systems in place, it will pay for itself. But like, again, it's better routing, better follow-up, automation. You can track churn, all your customer history, credit cards, email marketing, text message marketing, like clocking in, clocking out, track where your technicians are. Like, I can go on and on and on. But this is a very, very big thing that I see in the industry. A lot of you do have CRMs, but if you don't, or you get into business, make sure you get a CRM from day one. And last but not least is truth number 12. Your lack of focus is destroying your momentum. Trust me, I get this. And it's something that I had to learn, and something that my mentor had to like drill into my head over and over and over again. But entrepreneurs by nature, we're super ADD. We love the shiny object. We get excited really fast and we get bored even faster, honestly. And I get it. Showing up to work every single day doing the same boring shit gets old for us. But extreme focus will change your business forever. But nothing hurts a business more than the owner who can't focus. And I was one of them. Like going back to my first company, winter got slow. Yes, we'd be plowing snow, but there'd be a week or 2 weeks where we wouldn't do anything. So I decided it'd be a good idea, because I was bored out of my mind, to go start building sprayers. And they were awesome. I could have sold a ton of them, but it was such a huge distraction and a money pit. I probably spent $150,000 that winter, and so much time and energy, and I never even made my money back. I mean, I basically broke even, thankfully, because they were cool. I sold quite a few of them. But if I had just focused on what I was doing to get ready for spring, I'd have been much further off. I saved 150 grand. Yeah, I could say it was a learning experience, but again, just stay ultra focused. Most businesses don't fail because of the lack of opportunity. They fail from the lack of focus. Like most business owners always want to change everything. Like they're constantly adding services, or they're constantly starting new ads, or stopping ads, or starting Google, run it for 2 weeks, they stop, they knock doors for 4 days and they quit. Like we work on all these things, we're adding the services, trying to find something new, the next new thing, like constantly changing stuff, and the business never just gets to grow organically. Or if you just stay ultra focused for 12 months straight, like I promise you, it'll change your business forever. The question is, can you stay locked in while other business owners chase a shiny object? If you stay doing this, you stay locked in for 12 months, like I said, your entire life changes forever. If you guys follow me, I stopped drinking. I got ultra focused on my health and fitness, got ultra focused on my business, and the business exploded. Focus is a superpower that most owners don't use. So the 12 brutal truths that I wish that I would have known before I started my business, but if you let them sink in, I promise you'll skip years of frustration and save yourself a lot of stress and a lot of money. So if you feel like this helped you, make sure to do all the like and subscribes and all that stuff too. But let me know in the comments of which truth hit hardest for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.